I wanted to get your take on sort of the problems, challenges in the advertising, the digital advertising space right now as you see it.
Look, I think there's one big challenge, and I think it's kind of at the highest level. It's the rise of the walled gardens and the control that they're demonstrating over advertising dollars today. So what you've got today is about 30% of consumers' time is being spent with companies like Google and Facebook, but about 60, maybe 65% of all ad dollars are going over there. So that's a fundamental asymmetry that is it's a huge problem to protect and keep a thriving open web when that's happening. So your favorite publisher, your favorite forum, the sites that you go to and where you spend the majority of your time, they're not getting the ad revenue that they really should be earning because that's where you spend your time, and as a result, that's hurting their ability to create great content and really have a great experience for us on the open web.
So when you decide, just describe what you mean by the open web versus a closed garden and sort of who plays in the open web.
Sure, happy to. So when you think about a walled garden, you're really talking about one of the large players that's got end-to-end control. So if let's take Facebook as an example. In order to get Facebook content, you have to log in, provide them with your email, in many cases cell phone, and as a result, once you're in their environment, they know everything about you. They not only know your personal identifying factors like email, they also know what you're doing and everything else. So that's a closed or walled garden is what we would call that. The open web is what we would think of as the more traditional internet, where you scroll and go search and you look around at different sites and you find a site that you love, and you're not putting an email down, you're just exploring and finding out new types of information across the web. And that's really what we consider the open web, that isn't controlled by one or two large players.
So what are the opportunities for publishers, your clients, and other publishers to succeed in the open web in a way of sort of either embracing a sort of an identity graph or some sort of identifying system? What are the opportunities, and what are you guys doing in that space?
Sure. So the big issue, the reason all the marketers are putting their money in those walled gardens is because it's really easy. It's really easy to identify your audience. It's really easy to market directly to them. It's much easier than it is in the open web. So if you take a publisher in the open web, what can they do? They can work with companies like OpenX to better allow a marketer to identify their audience and put a great offer in front of that audience. And that's really the trick, is how do we allow the open web to create audiences, meaning all that means is groups of people that marketers can address easily on those sites, whereas it's so difficult compared to Facebook today. So for our publishers, for the marketers, for the agencies, for everybody, if we can create a more efficient advertising system for the open web, that's going to drive that asymmetry of dollars back to the open web and fuel it and create a thriving open web for all of us.
So can you just explain, what that means in terms of, your business practices beyond what you've been known to be doing all these years?
Sure, I'm happy to. So historically, we've been an exchange, and what that means is we work with publishers and we help them aggregate their inventory and then present that to buy-side platforms, agencies, and marketers. So really our primary focus has been on aggregating inventory, and by inventory I'm talking about ad units across the web. What we're doing now is taking that to a different level, which is we're really focused on bringing in additional components to that inventory. So not just inventory, but also understanding the person, that's identity, and understanding knowledge about the person. So that's additional data that we can bring in. For example, demographics about them, or maybe with the zip code where they live. Those kinds of things that allow a marketer to create an audience from that, and we can actually create that audience for them so that we can make that a more efficient way to sell. That benefits the marketer because now they have a place to put their dollars outside of Facebook, and it benefits the publisher because now there's more money coming to them and they can more efficiently sell their audience, because publishers really don't understand who is on their site. They don't know. When you go onto a given website, all they see is your behavior, what you click on. They don't know who you are, they don't know what you're interested in, they don't know much about you. And if we can help them understand who you are and more contextual information about you, then they can better say, okay, I have this audience and I can take that to a marketer in a constructive way.
And then in terms of the data sources that are in your solution, are they second, third party, are they first party? Where do they come from?
It's a blend. So it's going to be a blend of first to third party data, depending on where we get it. We're bringing in a lot of different data sources. We're going to be working directly with publishers in terms of their data. We've got some of the largest third-party data sources out in the ecosystem working with us today, and we have a lot of data of our own. So we're going to blend all those sources of data to create a really rich consumer view that, to be clear, is consented and anonymous. That's really important. It's consented and it's anonymous. But with that, it is still a rich view of that consented anonymous user, so that a marketer now can understand who they're marketing to and actually pay more, but have better results because they're getting the audience that they want to get, rather than being on an untargeted audience somewhere else.